Tonight's episode begins not with a conspiracy, but a question. Why are America's biggest cities overwhelmingly liberal? Buckle up. The comments are smarter than the news.
Because conservative policies don't scale well to dense populations. You can't pull yourself up by your bootstraps when your boot gets stolen on the subway.
In cities, people rely on public transit, social safety nets, and shared infrastructure. That's socialism's Tinder profile right there.
Conservatives value local control, but when you have 10 million locals, that turns into federal level chaos.
Try running a big city on rugged individualism. You'd have 12 police departments, 37 potholes per mile, and no clean water.
Also, education. Cities tend to have more universities, and nothing radicalizes you like student debt and a sociology degree.
Let's not forget who moves to cities. Creative people, immigrants, young progressives, and not your average HRA president with a flagpole fetish.
Cities are diverse by design, and nothing threatens a conservative mindset more than not being the default setting.
Imagine telling a trans kid, a Muslim cabbie, and a lesbian barista they need to vote for traditional values. That's not a campaign, that's a stand-up set.
Act 2, in which the suburbs sigh and the tractors weep. Welcome to the great urban-rural schism trademark, where everyone thinks the other side can't read maps or balance budgets.
It's simple. Rural areas don't see the complexity cities deal with the crime, zoning, housing shortages. They think it's just bad management instead of high population pressure.
And yet, somehow, the people who live in cities are the ones being lectured about economics by a guy whose town budget is $400 and a tractor.
Rural voters want lower taxes and no services. City dwellers want functioning infrastructure. That's not political, that's plumbing. Also, let's be honest. Cities are where the money is made. Rural areas are often net recipients of federal funds, yet they call cities leeches.
A lot of people hate cities without realizing they depend on them. It's like hating the sun while living off solar panels.
I love how people who never left their hometowns suddenly become experts on urban decay from watching Fox News.
Yeah, Karen from a 1,200-person town really has strong feelings about Chicago's public transit system.
The same people who mock city folks for needing public services are the first to demand FEMA when the cul-de-sac floods.
Act 3, where logic frays, irony flourishes, and America tries to explain itself with Yelp reviews and voter maps. Welcome to the hot take tornado.
Big cities attract the weird, the poor, the creative, the ambitious, basically everyone who doesn't want to become their dad.
And that's terrifying to conservatives, because deep down they don't fear crime, they fear change.
Urban progressivism is just what happens when people live too close together to pretend others don't exist.
You can't believe in pull yourself up ideology when your downstairs neighbor is dying from medical debt and you can hear it through the floor.
Conservatism thrives where people are isolated. Liberalism blooms where people are forced to acknowledge each other's humanity, often in traffic.
If you put 10 million people in one place, you either get progressive policy or a Netflix docuseries about the collapse of sanitation. My favorite argument is move to a red state. Like, yeah, let me pack up my queer, immigrant, atheist family and settle in rural Alabama. Great plan.
You know what's expensive in cities? Rent. You know what's cheap? Empathy. And yet people keep overdrafting both.
Final act. Where the takes are lukewarm, the logic is circular, and the internet eats itself while America watches, popcorn in hand.
People always say cities are dangerous, but statistically, rural areas have higher per capita crime in a lot of categories. You just don't hear about it on cable news.
Conservatives need cities to stay angry at something. Like Gotham in every Batman movie, but with fewer capes and more potholes.
Most conservative policies are designed for stability. Cities are engines of chaos. You can't regulate human friction with lawn signs.
The irony is that the conservative dream single-family homes, cars, private schools only exist because of city-generated wealth.
People want small government until the trash isn't picked up, the subway breaks, where there's a heat wave and the grid collapses.
Urban liberalism isn't some plot. It's just what happens when people are forced to share air, water, and Wi-Fi.
At this point, I think the real question is, why do conservatives keep pretending they'd survive 2 weeks without a city nearby?
Cities aren't liberal despite their problems, they are liberal because of them.
And yet, every election, we act surprised when the guy in the skyscraper votes differently from the guy in the silo.
The question was simple. The answers, predictably, were not. But in the echoes of keyboards and irony, a pattern emerges. The city never sleeps, and neither does the discourse.